Good morning, everyone. I'm here again with my talks, maybe trivial for some of you. I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to talk about your to-do list for your healing environment and stuff like that. So I already posted a few things about happiness, about electromagnetic pollution and healing. So why this is important in short, happiness is on top. It's very, very important. The reason why is that our emotions are making changes, physical changes through hormones into our physical body. That's why keeping us emotionally stable and happy is very, very important. For some of you, happiness might be going high all the time. That's fine, as long as you don't stay there for too long, because physically the body gets a great boost, but then it can go to exhaustion. That's why our goal is to keep our emotions as stable as possible. And I will talk about how do we achieve that. Electromagnetic pollution, this is something which came with advancement of our civilization, and it turned out that there are very serious researches that electromagnetic pollution can cause different diseases due to frequency interruption, literally frying the body and dehydrating the body, especially when you stay in front of a computer for a very long time. I have friends who turn off their internet for the night, and I don't think they avoid the entire Wi-Fi pollution in their house, because if your phone picks up the Wi-Fi of TELUS or whatever company you are with, that means it is there, the Wi-Fi signal, the pollution. But turning off your Wi-Fi signal at home might help as well. It's good to have your phone away from your head, at least a meter. Most of the doctors and researchers I've read say that this is safer or safe because the phone constantly is searching for the signal, and this pollutes the area around you, and this can cause frequency interruptions. So this is what they say scientifically, and I suggest you to try and see if you can sleep better this way. I also put a post about the healing environment. Hi, Stephanie. The healing environment in terms of space, this is very personal. You decide to design your healing environment. So today I'm going to talk about something more different, but yet something I've spoken many times about, and it might be trivial for you, but we can't avoid talking about morning routines, intentions, nutrition, hydration, if we want to heal. Every book, scientific book I read, they talk about that. You can't promote healing without those components of environment. So morning routine or ritual, why this is important? Because it puts us in a very good position for the day. It makes us being aware of where we are, what we have to do. It calms us down. It helps us with focus on our intentions. Intentions are important for the same reason. Setting up intention can help at least half of the day to go as you plan. And this is very satisfactory for your healing process. I suggest the intention to be one per day. If you want, write them down each day, and at the end of the month, you will see how much you have achieved that month. But intention is very important. So how do I set up my intention? In the morning, I tell myself, today, this one task is the most important thing I have to achieve. And I have to make sure that as soon as I finish with the morning routines, morning rituals and trainings and food and all that, I have to do that one task for me to consider that the day is accomplished and nothing can come on the way. I know sometimes people with children, life comes on the way, but still you can try and make the time to do that. Or sometimes we're in pain and this is difficult to achieve. That's why set up intentions which are easy, which are achievable, and which are attainable, and you will feel satisfaction throughout the day that you achieved it. It might sound to you very fluffy and not so important to do so, but when you get into the practice of doing so, you will see that this is very important for your overall building, for your discipline, for your mental health and clarity throughout the day. And when you are battling the chronic condition, I think one intention is enough and it is most satisfactory. The other thing is we have to eat well. I will never forget, I had this client, she was bipolar. I used to train her as a trainer then. I wasn't still holistic coach, but I was studying about it, and she was going to a breakup. And she said, "Oh, Maria, you don't comfort me." I said, "No, I'm not going to comfort you. Your emotions, what you're going through is entirely in your life, and whatever I tell you, it's not really going to help. The only one thing I want from you is to eat as I taught you so far. I want you to have your food prepared for the days and to make sure you eat." Why is this? Because you will balance your emotions and you will go through the breakup way easier. And after a while, she came to me and she said, "You actually were right. I did very well with this breakup. We went separate ways. I didn't suffer that much. I made sure I eat well. I understood what has happened. I could let go, and now I'm ready to continue my life." So that's why this is very important. And I draw a little something for you here, just to show you. On this side, I wrote emotions, cognition, and here pain, just for you to have a visual idea of how it works. Emotions are very interconnected with pain, because we spoke about it, that emotions can be picked up by the body, by different organs, and they can be shown through physical expression in our body. That's why keeping a stable emotion or high emotion, giving you a boost and then go back to stable emotion, will really help your pain. Negative emotion will make the pain worse, because you change hormonally in a way that really is detrimental for experienced pain. And yes, pain has bad effects on emotions and on the cognitive function, which can put you in bad mood, which can interfere with attention, memory, your mood, your decision-making process. That's why it is very important to keep the emotions stable. How we do that? Breathing. Breathing is the key. I forgot his name. There is a doctor, neuroscientist, who has lectures on YouTube, and he said the following: When you want to balance your biochemistry, you just breathe in for 3, let's say, and breathe out for 3. Those equal breaths in and out, even without pausing, can cause your biochemistry to balance. And then you can balance your emotions very easily. So if you're during a meeting and you experience pain and you don't know how to escape and what to do, just remember, just start breathing in and breathing out. You can breathe in for 5 and breathe out for 5. It doesn't matter. As long as the breaths are equal, you will balance your biochemistry and you will control and handle the pain better and your emotions. So I am back to the nutrition. How do we organize our environment that we have that good nutrition and that comforting, healing environment? First of all, every person, every type, metabolic type, needs to eat vegetables, and different portions. It depends on the person. Your vegetables have to be in the fridge, ready to go, washed at any time, to be available, to be eaten raw or to cook them, doesn't matter. This will help your healing enormously because of the orderly environment, because of the feel that everything is available, everything is in order, and it's easy to achieve. I don't have to now think about it or feel guilty that I don't have the needed food. And then, of course, is your protein intake. Protein is, we take the amino acids from the meat in order the body to build protein. When I say protein intake, that's what I mean. Protein is the building block for our body, our tissues. And every night when the body recovers, it needs building blocks in order to recover. So it's important to know how much meat, fish, poultry, whatever you take today, how much you have to take, and to be there ready to go for the day. I assume that some of you will have people that help you if you are in a chronic condition where you're losing your independency, or some of you can do that when you are in your good day and good hours. Think about it. Prepare your healing environment. And here I would like to mention something about foods. So nowadays there is a lot of information, what is good, what is bad, and including myself, I try not to go to extremes, but I caught myself a few times. Just that's the way it is. You have a lot of temptations to say this or that without thinking so much. For example, when we talk about tomatoes, a lot of people say, and I've been saying that very often, tomatoes have lectins, and they are part of that nightshade group with cucumbers, with peppers, with eggplants, courgettes, what was in English, that have lectins. And the lectins are like bad proteins, and Dr. Gundry says that they are worse than even the protein. They're even worse for your gut from comparing to gluten. So I just want to tell you that the research shows that actually cooked tomatoes are very, very beneficial for diseases like cancer, many chronic diseases, heart diseases, osteoporosis, and breast cancer in particular. The problem is that we have dietary researches, but we have lack of controlled experiments, and people, even doctors and researchers, make quick conclusions only from observations. remember one thing, we are different. The way we're different outside, the same way we're different inside. And while doing your protocol for nutrition, it has to be explored, it has to be tried and learn to trial and error. You have to have a foundational evaluation of your metabolic type, but then it takes quite a lot of work to find out exactly which foods from the list are working for you and which foods don't that much work for you, for the reason that we are different inside. And remember, your ancestors for thousands and thousands of years, hi Marlene, had a certain type of diet. And another important thing is our digestive system changes 1% per 1,000 years. So we introduced the grains 3,000 or 4,000 years ago. So since we started eating grains, our digestive system did not change much. Before that, our ancestors ate meat, vegetables, berries, some nuts, root vegetables, and that's it. And they developed that digestive system. So have this in mind. I'm not saying that gluten is bad for everyone. There are people who are thriving on bread. It doesn't seem that anything is happening to their brain. They don't feel foggy. They don't have stomach cramps. If you ask Dr. Tom O'Brien, he's all over the internet. They call him the gluten guru. He would tell you that every research he checked shows that we all have bad damage on the gut due to the gluten. But were these observations, or it was a really controlled experience research? And remember one thing, researches are done on mice, researches are done on monkeys, but very rarely researches are done on people. Maybe for the gluten, a lot of researches are done on people. I don't know. The thing is, to read the entire research, it's very expensive to be a member of PubMed.com. So I read only the summary, and then it helps me to read books from different scientists who discuss researches in the books. So when it comes to nutrition, it's not one thing fixes all, and one idea fixes everybody. There are people who are thriving on vegetarian food, and there are people who are thriving on only meat. The only thing with the vegetarians, I want to say, I've noticed that the recovery is longer, more difficult, and more painful. And I think it's the lack of amino acids that will build the protein, the building blocks of our tissues. This is my personal opinion. I don't want to just impose it on you. So what you can do is to make sure you eat clean. Once I remember I worked with a naturopathic doctor in Montreal many years ago, and because I had calcium in the urine, and he said, do one thing for me, have one organic food or organic fruit a day. That's all. And he thought that this is enough for the cleansing. It's enough for me as a nutritional value. So avoid food that is product of technology. It's very, very important for the reason why first it's dry. then it sits on the shelf for a very long time. It loses its value. And third, you don't know exactly what is inside. When I studied holistic coaching, they told us about this grass, generally regarded as safe. These are chemicals, and especially in the US, but in Canada as well, they use a lot of chemicals for stabilizing of the food, and they even have the right not to mention, I don't remember, it was 1%, if those chemicals are 1% or 10% of, maybe 1%, it makes sense, of the content of the food. They have a right not to mention what kind of chemicals they used. There was a statistics that yearly in our food through processing, there are thousands and thousands of chemicals that are coming into your body, and a lot of those chemicals the body cannot expel. The problem is that they get stuck in the fatty tissue, in the muscle tissue, and they start causing problems, because if the tissue mentioned is organ tissue, organs have muscle tissue, they have fatty tissue as well, then those chemicals stay there and compromise this tissue to do what it's supposed to do. Imagine organ tissue has to pulse, it has to accept fluids, to do different reactions inside of the organs and to expel things. And if this tissue cannot function properly anymore, then we start getting inflammation and disease. Another thing for your healing environment is to consider your hydration. I many times spoke about it. I'll give you a formula now, how to find out your best water intake, and yet you have to work on it. It might not be according to the formula for you. So the formula is your body weight in pounds divided by 70 will get you the liters of water per day. I gave this example because it's easy to calculate. If you're 140 pounds divided by 70, it gives you 2 liters of water per day. And this might be too much for some people, so then you decide how much it would be for you. Experiment and see. If you're not foggy while you hydrate, that means that it's enough for you. If you have good energy during the day, that means you had enough water. The body produces water from cheese and from food, any food but the bread and the pasta and the rice. On the contrary, those are like sponges, they pull a lot of water. But you pay the price for it. And you pay the price through energy and calorie intake, which the body uses in order to produce water. It can hydrate you up to about 20% if you eat adequate amount of vegetables, and it can produce this water. Also, drinking herbal teas is very, very important, and you can consider those, not all of them, I will tell you why, part of your hydration. Some herbs are really make the body very dry. They work on the tissue recovery, and this is alternatives, and this type of herbs that really pull a lot of, like mullein, for instance, they pull a lot of water and they make you feel very thirsty. So you have to increase the intake of water. For people who drink coffee, and stay tuned, I will have an article on the coffee in December. For people who drink coffee, I suggest to drink water, a glass of water for every cup of coffee. The reason why is coffee is a major dehydrator. So it's diuretic and dehydrates the body. That's why. And another thing is the movement. No, we can't escape the movement because movement is very important for the fluids to go through our body. You can do movements in bed. You can do movements around a chair, stretches. You can do movement through respiratory practices, like breathing in, opening the chest, breathing out, closing the chest. This is a movement. You do as much as your pain, as your body allows you, but movement is very important. I think I read a statistics once that about 30% of the healing process can be speed up or requires movement. And I believe from my practice with people, I believe that this is true. Exercise, movement at all, walk in the nature or anything you would like to do is very, very important for your healing process. And now I would like to mention a few things about pain. So we know that 80% of the visitors to doctors in the United States and probably around the world are due to pain. So pain is in our life, and I guess it will stay because of the lifestyle we have, and we have to deal with it. And we know that 30% of the population constantly experiences some kind of a pain while painting too. I'm doing a lot of painting these days, and my right shoulder is just killing me. I'm stretching, I'm applying creams, but yeah. So for pain, there is the movement, there is the manual therapy, there is the nutrition, there is the hydration, and there is the emotional observation. How we do the emotional observation, we imagine the pain as a subject, and we make a connection in our mind with it. You will tell me it's in your mind, says the doctor. Yes, it is there already. But you can imagine the pain, the color, the thickness, the shape, and everything, the smell, if it has a smell, where it is in the space, and try to observe it, try to feel it. Usually pain doesn't like understanding, but it likes fighting. Everything negative, everything painful in life feeds off fighting and negative energy, negative emotions. The more you give it a negative thought and fighting, I'm going to fight this now, the more it stays, the bigger it becomes, like bigger and bigger clouds all over you. And you have to be aware of that. I know that it is easier to get down this aisle with those thoughts of fighting, but it is not productive when it comes to pain. And I want to mention something in relation between pain and movement. I studied with a very prominent osteopath from Montreal once, and he said, he's from France originally, he said in France, 98% of the lower back surgery are avoided through movement and work on manual therapy, and doing the right things, of course, in order to fix or heal the problem. Only 2% go under the knife. Think about that. Movement, exercise, breathing. Actually, there are monks that say that we are sick because we don't breathe enough, we don't breathe properly. I don't mean to hyperventilate you, but be mindful of your respiratory exercises for the day. And yeah, that's what I wanted to say about pain and breathing and pain and emotions. So this is everything I wanted to mention today about your healing environment. These are the most important things. In the posts below, I mentioned other things that can contribute to your healing environment. And don't forget, social interaction is crucial. I mentioned many times about the study that finished a couple of years, I think, ago, the longest study in the history. They followed for 80 years. They followed people's lives, and to find out who are and why are healthier and live longer. And they found out, the final team who did the conclusion found out that people who have the best relationships with others, the positive, loving, and open relationship with other people, they live the longest. So part of your healing environment should be contact with people you love, people you want to be amongst, want to communicate with, who brings you that inspiring and positive energy. Because I guess we are social beings, and this is very important for our health. So thank you for listening. I see the names of Stephanie and Marlene. I see one person is watching, but there's no way to find out who is that person. I don't know. Thank you for those of you who will be watching this in recorded. And if you have any questions and you would like to talk to me, I am here. I'm available. Just write in the comments below and I'll get back to you. Thank you. Have a lovely day.
Follow for more Transform Perform. Drop a comment if you have any questions.